And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Hey.
Yes, we are.
Woo.
Listen, this mom life, mom's so hard. Tired as a mother.
Oh, girl.
Like all the catchphrases of life. As you know, we are definitely wives, friends, and mothers.
Squared.
And today, yes, we are. And today, we are going to have a little conversation that popped up. It's a frequently asked question.
Yeah.
It popped up last week, so we're excited to do our frequently asked questions segment today.
Yay.
That our frequently asked questions, the topics can vary.
It can be anything.
It can be about marriage. It can be about in-laws and how to navigate those seas. It can be about grandparents because, those are two different functions. You got the in-law function, then you got the grandparent function. And how do you navigate how these grandparents always going against your rules? Whatever it is.
Right.
Or it can be about work situations. I think our wifey topic kind of came from, and work wife / husband like that.
Oh, yeah.
That was a frequently asked question from the past. So it can be anything. And this time it has to do with mom and so hard and what to do with our kids. So do you want to tell the audience what our frequently asked question is this week?
Okay, so the frequently asked question is, and I hope I worded it correctly, what age is appropriate to leave your child at home?
And part B to that question was, when is time up on you taking time off with your kids if they're sick? Meaning like the coddling, the catering to, the rocking them to sleep, letting them sleep in your bed. Like, when is that over? So they're kind of the same type of topic, but
right. It's almost like that whole hover
helicopter mom.
When do you let that go, or when is it free for them to fly, or when can they just take care of themselves?
I like that free for, like, when are we gonna clip the wings? I remember I can't remember who said it, but I remember someone saying we're raising adults, not children.
Yep.
Like, we're raising our
parent for life.
Yeah, yes, we're raising them to be adults. We're not raising them to be kids and to feel dependent their whole lives.
Yep.
So let's start with part A to the question.
Yeah.
When is it appropriate to leave your kids at home by themselves?
So legally, I think it's 12. It's 9, but because we have to do that mandated reporter every year. So it's like 9 and 12 to watch someone, right?
Right. So 9
by themselves.
If you're not above the age of, if you're not above 3rd grade at our school, like in schools, you cannot get off the bus by yourself. Your parents have to be there to receive you, or you will come back to the school. So 9, that's the age of a 3rd grader, 3rd/4th grader.
Yeah.
Going into the 4th grade, more than likely.
Right. You can, and I had a kid on my neck around that age.
Right. Latchkey. No, seriously.
Latchkey kids.
You could ask my parents today and they will deny it. They will say that I never stayed at home by myself when I was 8. Yes, I did. Like, who did they think was at home with me? My sister was 10 years older than I was, and she worked at Goodies. Y'all remember Goodies?
That's a clothing store.
Yes!
Right? Oh my
Do
God.
you remember Goodies? So she worked at Goodies. And so I would be at home by myself at the age of 8. And I'm not saying I was there 12 hours, but like, I got home by myself, had my key, latchkey kid, and went in the house and got my snack and watched DuckTales.
Yeah. No, I had, my sisters were older, so I was, I remember definitely I would wait after school for Jamila, and then we would go home and wait for Zakiya to get home. Who she was like middle school, I guess, and we were elementary or something. But yeah, we both had our little key wrapped around our necks just in case, and I know that I was probably in first grade the first time I had a key around my neck. But I was waiting for my other sister, so I get it. I guess she was old enough to. I don't know. But
I was the baby of my family. Again, there's a 10-year gap between me and my sister.
So that's.
I used to get off the bus at the high school to get with my sister, but then like when she got a job, I had to ride the bus home. Like I didn't have another way home. I wasn't going to work with her. Right. So, again, my parents will definitely deny that, but they also wanted me to think that they only had sex twice. So, because I have one other sister. So, anybody that raised me to think y'all only had sex 2 times, you know good and well I know you lying about me staying at home by myself. Oh, my God. Oh, that's another topic, like...
Right.
Yes. So, anyway, we're just getting all these nuggets. We have so much to say to y'all.
Girl, so... I'm like, man, my kids are not prepared. Like the fact that we just ran down how we were just hanging out by ourselves. I feel a little convicted. And I feel like maybe I'm not raising an adult, because if I was, my kids would have been staying at home by themselves. Like we definitely.
And your kids' ages are?
They're 13 and 11. And don't get me wrong, like they have stayed home by themselves, but it's not like you have a key and you gonna let yourself in, and
right.
You know, it's more like we have someone who picks her up, and then he goes to school with his dad, so he comes home with him. So it's not really a whole bunch of opportunities. Now, if I'm going down the hill to get my nails done, maybe y'all can chill. And he's 13.
Did you say maybe?
Maybe. Like, if no one else is available at home, then I'm like, y'all will be all right.
But you said maybe. So it's like you had to think real hard.
I have to be like, it's always on my mind. Like, I'm not like, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm going to be like, okay, you guys all right? Like, I'm going down the hill. They even have phones. Call me if it's anything. Like, all of that. And I don't even consider myself a hover parent way.
So my husband is definitely I'm out and like doesn't look back.
Oh.
And I'm like, like I really freak out. Yeah. So I learned at a later date that he had already been running to Dunkin' and leaving them here before I even knew it.
Uh-oh.
But the reality is my mother-in-law lives in our our basement suite.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that's how he started his habit. He did it, where she would be downstairs and they would just be upstairs. So it started there. And then it turned into, all right, let's go. Okay. But Gigi's not here. It doesn't matter. We're just going to Dunkin'. Oh. Like it would be like that started. So again, I'm not an extended period of time person. Like I don't mind running somewhere quick. And when I say quick, I'm talking 20 minutes.
Right. Down the hill.
But, we haven't done it for a totally extended period of time. Sometimes in the summer, I might have a meeting at our Performing Arts Center, which is literally across the street from my subdivision. I have left them here like 3 hours.
Okay.
Because I'm across, but they have their iPads to call me. They have all those things. We have, of course, the cameras that I can look at on my phone. Like all the things where I can watch, and security, and they've been trained. Like, I think that's the main part. They have to, your kids, if you're going to leave your kids at home alone, they have to be trained on do not answer the door under any circumstances. Like, we've even gone over where to hide and what to do. Like, I'm just, that educator, and you are used to doing drills. Right. And you're used to intruder drills and hiding and preparation. So I probably go overboard with that kind of thing where my husband's probably like, meh.
That I've done it yet. Like, we just moved houses too.
True.
So the house that they were, literally this year. So the house that they were raised in, like they're grown. The house that they were raised in, we're not even in that same house. So like,
that's true. A new environment definitely adds a different level.
Right. But I also feel like, and that other house was like literal 10 houses down from my sister. Mm-hmm. So I think we always just had the idea, if there's an emergency, you get out the house and you go to your auntie's house. Like, that was just kind of the set in stone for both ends. So now we're in this other environment, but they're older now, and we have neighbors who were very watchful. And I feel like, yes, they could be fine by themselves. I worry more about the boy and like burning the house down. More than like, someone coming and they won't know what to do. I feel like my kids,
that's true. I will
like
say
a knife or
that one of my relatives has gone through challenges with their child in staying home and doing the whole running down the street to go visit the friends. And the making YouTube videos of dangerous things.
Oh, shoot.
That might have to do with pyrotech.
Oh, no, see. He's going into the performing art. But he's about to be in high school. Like, okay, at some point, enough is
I think 13,
enough.
They should be able to stay. And like, it shouldn't even be a second thought.
And I know what my kids do when I'm home. So I'm like, y'all aren't that creative. Like, you're not about to get out here and start all of a sudden being active. Like, I have to get you going to like, just get up. And now cooking random meals. Listen, this is like my nightmare. When we were little, my sister almost set the whole kitchen on fire. Grease fire.
I was going to say grease. Got to be y'all
burning
trying to get some
frozen burrito. And I mean, I just remember the flames. I remember being like, oh my gosh. The oldest sister, so we were all at home by ourselves, just living our best lives, making s'mores in the microwave. Like, we were just doing all kinds of like really potentially dangerous things. And so that's the part in my mind, I'm always like, okay, don't like, I don't even know if my kids know how to fry a frozen burrito.
Well, that's what I was just thinking to myself. I think about my daughters a lot, and I'm like, dang. By the time I was 10, I was already using the oven. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was already frying French fries, sis. Like, I had it hooked up, cooking them fish sticks up in this doggone like, I was really noodles. Girl, who wasn't making them chicken ramen? What is it? Ramen noodles. Putting that butter on it. Thought I was a Chef Boyardee up in there. Like, I was truly doing more. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, dang, what? Why do I think that's a problem? Like, I literally
are we out of touch with what they can do? Is that like...
That could be.
Or we're out of touch with or maybe it's just times are different.
But why? What makes me being able to boil my own pot of ramen noodles different from where she is today? Like, she likes to eat a lot.
Right. And, she can. Because Layla been doing that.
Girl, my baby.
Stir frying the kale.
My baby is a doggone toaster oven freak. Like, she'll hook that toaster oven up. But, like, I literally just taught her how to turn on the flames. Because, we got the gas.
Yeah, us too.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I really just taught her how to turn that on like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. It's gonna get going, but she's probably really responsible already. Like, I just don't see your girl.
She is
tearing nothing down and up. Like,
now, she thinks she's a scientist.
Well,
mixing stuff,
right? And
chemicals.
I guess when I think back, we did all that stuff, but we still turned out fine. We're still alive. Nothing traumatic probably did happen or whatever. I remember my sister chopped up my dad's counters with the sharp knife, cutting watermelon. This is the one sister, not the one right above me, the oldest.
I knew. She can cook today, though.
Oh, girl, she can. She can. But she was.
She had to get that practice in. Thank you for chopping up those cabinets, girl.
Right.
I'm benefiting from that today.
And that kitchen fire, frozen burrito.
You go, girl.
But I think that, like, and this is something, too. This goes along with it. I was talking to her about when do you let your kids free in the kitchen to, like,
yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not at that
I ain't gonna
place.
lie. I'm watching MasterChef Junior like, this sure would be nice.
Who gave them truffles?
Right.
Like,
and showed them how to, like, and listen, Brooklyn she definitely talks about her palate, and she's like, her sister was talking about something else she eats now, or she doesn't eat it anymore, or something. Mm-hmm. And Brooklyn is 7, and she's like, your palate must have changed. I like to taste test everything.
Yes.
And I'm like, I love that, but like, seriously, you don't know where to start to recreate that dish. Like, right. What the freak is happening on MasterChef Junior with those kids? Because I need my kids to be cooking. Because their mama doesn't like to cook.
I was trying to figure out, like, what was my problem with letting them have it. Like, I could, because that's we want to cook, we want. And so, and I'm like, no, well, let me lay out the ingredients and then you can have those ingredients. But
that's a good step.
I've come to realize I don't like grocery shopping. So I don't want you to have at it in the kitchen because guess who has to go grocery shopping after that? Me. So,
and, well, not cleaning up. They're getting to the age where they knock that out, right?
Struggling to clean. Struggling. It's a fight. And I'm like, listen, okay, so we're going to have to lay some more rules down. But nonetheless, I pretty soon am going to just need to be like, okay, whatever. He's 13. I have no idea why we are over here like, you need to drive. Okay, so perfect example. He says, next year I want to ride the bus to school. He's never ridden the bus to school.
Well, let me tell you this story. So, because I don't need you to let my pretend son to be like this, okay? I will never forget my daddy and my husband had this mentoring group, and one of the little mentees, we had a relationship with his mom because I taught him and I taught his big sister too. Mm-hmm. So, you know, those situations. So we invited them over. Well, we invited the little boy over to like 4th of July dinner or something like that, mm-hmm. right? He wanted to take some food home. He's like 15 by this point. I taught him in 7th grade, but he's 15 by this point. So we've had the group a few years in a row, and mm-hmm. I had taught his sister 2 years before. They had been, you know, over to the church, like all the things, all the familiarization. And this joker, and I don't think your boy like this, but he did not know how to tear the aluminum foil off. Oh. And it just showed me that he had been catered to for so long. Because mm-hmm. he, you know, cute little boy, you know, the son, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Mama's, the apple of mama's eye, mm-hmm. blah, 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 blah. And this baby could not, I went off because I could care less about how cute you are. Right. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You 15 and don't know how to do this. Yeah. So that's what you don't want.
Exactly. And, you know, that reminds me also of Candy's daughter on Housewives of Atlanta. Like, they show her, they moved her into this, she's 16, but she was mm-hmm. doing an internship at an apartment in New York. And she was like, pulled out the ice trays and was like, what the heck? And they made, like, the internet made a big deal about the fact that she didn't know what the ice trays were. She came back and explained it later in their little YouTube thing. But Candy made a good point in saying, my daughter's not privileged. She's like, it's not about privilege, how the internet was like, they pay people to do this and that. She was like, it's not privilege. Because she was like, Candy was like, she never folded clothes until she got out, like, and was on her own and escaped. She was like, because my mom just did it for me all the time. Yeah. It's not about the idea of, like, you have social too much status, money, now you can't. But she was like, it's certain things that you have to prepare your kids for. And she was like, so I've dropped the ball in making sure that she understands which type of refrigerators have different kind of ice makers. Like, that's the deal. It's not about, does she even know what ice is that doesn't come from a refrigerator? So I was like, that's a good point. Like, we don't know all the details of what our kids need when they get from under our wing. And there will be things that they're like, my mama never told me cheese costed this much. Or, you know, whatever. Stuff like that they're going to learn to experience. So, like, I don't think we need to really, like, beat ourselves up.
No, it's not a beat. Like I said,
a list of things that we know.
This baby has just started turning on the stove like 2 weeks ago. But like that might be because I don't ever cook. You know, like.
And my sisters and I were just talking. Not Thanksgiving, the day after we went over there, and we were all like, you know, we could go into the kitchen and cook whatever. Like, there wouldn't be like a question about how to do, because we're always like, how are people confused about not being able to cook? So that was something my parents really did have us, like, I cooked a full meal at 9, like for my great grandmother. It was chicken and mashed potatoes and corn. It was baked chicken, and it's very delightful. She talked about that like her whole rest of her life. Whenever she saw me, she was like, "Oh, baby, you gonna bring me this meal?" Like, so I remember doing that at 9. And so with Missy, I was like, "Girl, come on," because we're not about to have you not knowing how to cook at least chicken, potatoes, and corn. Like, you, and that girl can season some meat.
That was from your experience. Like,
Missy can season some dang on meat. I'll be like, thaw it out, and she will put it in that pan, put it in the oven. It'd be cooking by the time I get home. But
that's a blessing. Like, those are goals for me.
Yeah, teach them how to season the meat.
But well, their dad would have to teach them that. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not good at it. I know my limitations.
You can cook.
I can.
Have you ever tasted your food?
Mm-mm. You haven't?
What?
Other than my brunch food.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Like, I cook that, almost the majority of that food. But
the little pies, the casseroles.
And the French toast.
And I've had your, like, vegetable medley. Like the, not cauliflower.
She making those stuff.
What are the little baby cabbages?
Oh,
your Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes. I've had that.
Yeah,
you made that, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, see,
girl,
slamming.
Whatever. Listen, you not hurt my feelings. Luckily, I married a husband who did not have those expectations of me. And it might have made me, like, slack off a lot more. But, like, that's not one of his things. He can eat cereal and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to be fine. But then we had this thing called a family, so I had to give them balanced meals. I have been cooking all week because the person who usually meal preps trying to be in these streets and have holidays.
Chop, girl.
But I miss her so much. You know who you are out there. But,
well, the other question was.
But wait, there's more.
Right.
I was just going to say that Ansley, speaking of, I don't remember what I used to call them. That's why I'm just using their real names.
A and B Select or something.
Yeah, A and B Selection. I forgot.
Well, that's
So she has decided that she wants to do her own meal, own dish for our Christmas Eve brunch.
Oh, cute. Yeah. Let her do a little corn.
Then I asked her what she wanted to do. Guess what she said? Bread pudding. I said, what? With my brunch? Like, that means you need to just do the French toast casserole by yourself then. Because, like...
similar, right?
Yeah, like, that's as close as we're getting to bread pudding.
Yeah.
But, she made me mad because I was like, I don't want to figure out what you're doing.
That's a lot of detail going into that.
Yes, like
let her do the bacon.
Girl, she's so scared of grease already. You should have seen her putting some eggs in some boiling water and she jumping like it's grease. I said, girl, that is not grease. Okay, so part 2 of the question was, when do you stop staying home and coddling your kids when they're sick? I know I'm not in that age range yet, but I'm just, like, we were talking and I'm trying to remember. Both of our moms have medical backgrounds, like they are in the medical field.
So and they were kind of
super nurturing. Well, they were super nurturing to a point, and then at some point it flipped. Like, and I'm trying to remember when it was like, okay, it's some orange juice in the refrigerator.
Right.
I'm going to bring you, here go your medicine. Mm-hmm. I'm gone. Like, I'm trying to remember when that happened.
I remember throwing up at school and calling my mom, and she's like, you feel better after you throw up. So I just stayed at school. Like, I don't know what was going on with her life at that point, but I know I wasn't going home. And I was like, okay, well. And even athletically, like if I would get hurt, twist my ankle, jam my fingers millions of times.
All that, me too.
She would just be like sitting in the stands. I guess just waiting to see if it's something she needs to do. She'd be like, no, she'll be all right. Like, you know, some mamas be like, ooh, they down, man, down. Like all that. Not my mom. She would just be like watching, and, you know, I would be looking around to see if she was still sitting there. Yeah. Then you get back up and keep moving. Like,
yeah, the only time my parents rushed the floor was when I hit my head.
Yeah.
From taking a charge.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hard charge, girl. I was doing too much that day, child.
You were concussed, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Like, that's why I am the way that I am today.
No.
But they did rush the floor for that. But, like, my parents were more like, they'll check on you often.
Mm-hmm.
They might bring some orange juice. But I can't remember when they stopped. And so we're trying to do, I mean, after, we've gotten this question, we're kind of reflecting on when are we going to pull the plug?
Okay, so even today, like, I didn't know if I was going to make it to record or if I was going to stay home with my 13-year-old. And I don't know. I feel like he would be fine, but I also feel like the mother in me wanted to be like, oh, like he needs soup. And I did end up making soup before I headed out and
that's good.
And fix it up for him and all that stuff. But he wasn't really like, mommy, like none of that either. So
that's true.
And Missy,
I guess that is true. It depends on how needy your kids are.
And Missy is like, oh, I need us to be in your bed. Like, she's one of those. So I think that I don't play into it, but her dad does. He's like, she's in your bed. She's, like because he normally handles most of the sickness. I don't really take off when they're sick. He does. And I don't know why. I think it's like I don't have the wiggle room that he does because he's a PE teacher. So he can kind of figure it out and have a little more freedom. Like, I'm like, I have a bell and the kids are here and I can't really leave right now, like, unless it's an emergency.
Right.
So he's been pretty much that person who's been like, okay, the kids are home. They're going to take them to the doctor and do all that stuff. In my mind, I would be like, Tylenol, break the fever. Bye.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, like, it's so... I'm definitely the one that stays home at this point. My husband is closer now, so he might take that on currently. But in the past, I've been I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, so we're not quite there yet. But, I don't know. I think 13 is appropriate they can stay home by themselves, sleep it off. But, like, I would probably run home and check to see how they're doing.
And get them a little medicine.
Or send somebody to see about them.
And give them some food. But really, like, okay, so my thing is I don't want our audience to feel like we're just like, or I'm just this heartless person, but I think I have a good read on like what's severe and what's not. So I think that's the main thing.
Please tell the group your background.
I have been a paramedic.
Yes.
So even when my students are saying they have to, all these emergencies, I know what an emergency is. And maybe my idea of an emergency is quite extreme, but I'm just kind of like, let me assess the situation. Let me look at your eyes. If I put my eyes on you and you seem right and I feel you and you don't feel like you're just burning up, then I feel like you can be okay and you can sleep it off. And luckily my children have been very healthy, except for that one thing with Layla.
Yes.
Which was random. So
yes.
random. But, I just feel like I don't, especially with my son, you know, that whole idea that men are like turn into babies when they're sick. I'm like, I don't want to feed.
You don't want him to be raised that way.
I don't want to feed into that. And his dad is not that way. He's like, no, it's just sinuses. Like he will keep going. And sometimes I have to be like, sit down. You are sick. But I don't want to put that burden on my future daughter-in-law that her husband just another child. Like,
yeah, that is a stigma that sometimes happens.
But luckily, you know what? And I'm thinking about throughout that boy's life. That boy, we never used to know he was sick. The only thing we could tell is like his cheeks would be a little bit bright. Like he always was able to push through. So if he says that he's not feeling good, then
it's real.
We really do jump on that a lot more than the other one who's like,
that's my baby.
Oh.
My baby, she is also, it's hard to tell. Like you have to, it's bad. Like she says she doesn't feel good.
Right.
But that oldest one, your daughter's friend, child. That one right there.
We have a pair of drama queens. They're so funny.
I said, girl, you don't have to put on a doggone performance all the time. Let me ask you this in our closing statements. Like we're in a court of law.
Right. In closing.
Do you feel like, and this might end up being longer, so I'm so sorry.
Oh, Lord.
But like, in my family, they're so extreme. So my family, okay. So it's a running joke that me and my husband think that everything that my kids are dealing with is sinuses or allergies. Like we always say sinuses or allergies. And like my mom was like, y'all always not taking those babies seriously. You always think it's sinuses or allergies. I said, okay, never mind. I think it's the flu. And mom was like, oh, I guess that is. Oh. I said, because that's what y'all act like. Y'all act like every sniffle is the flu. So my parents are such hypochondriacs. I feel like I have to err on the other side, on the other spectrum of extreme, because I don't want to go into panic mode. I don't want to be worrying all the doggone time about every time they cough.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I feel like I have to err on the other extreme of nonchalantness just so that I don't create this stigma in my kids to think that they're dying every time they get sick.
The funniest thing, there was a meme that said like, some parents, I think they referenced color, and they were like, certain parents, Jimmy, they fall down, the kids fall down, and they're like, Jimmy, are you okay? Are you okay? And then it's like, black parents, the kids fall down, and they be like, don't look at him. And then it's like, don't look at them, otherwise they're going to cry, or something like that. And I do feel like there's a little bit of like, can you figure it out yourself? Like, you know, let's process through how you're feeling. Let's process through it, like, without me putting my emotions and my feelings and my thoughts into it. Like, I want you to come to me about, like, a sniffle.
That's
God,
so true.
You're sick. No, I really want for you to be like, Mommy, I don't feel well. And then I'll respond a little bit, but they're older. When they were little, of course, it's like, oh, they have a runny nose. Let me give them what they need.
But that's true. Like, I do have to agree with the meme. It is kind of like, let me just see. It's even like even if they're hungry, like my husband kills me with this. Oh my gosh. So I come home last night. It's like 7:30. I come through the door. Everybody start talking about dinner. And I'm like, y'all hadn't already eaten? And they're like, no, we were waiting on you. We didn't know if you were going to make those meatballs.
No.
And I was like, not tonight. We had leftovers from last night in the fridge that y'all could have already eaten. But I went to my husband. I'm like, so why haven't y'all eaten dinner yet? And he's like, nobody said anything about food. And I'm like, so are they really hungry? Like, it's kind of like, it's so weird. I don't know what that is. It's like when they see me, they're hungry. And I always say that it's because I breastfed them. So it's just like an automatic trigger when they see me, they think of food.
Oh, please.
That's not it?
I don't know.
I feel like I trigger food thoughts.
Maybe because you always talk about food.
Me?
You be like, what we going to eat for dinner? What we gonna eat
I
for
have to
dinner?
plan, though. So anyway,
I don't even know. I don't know about that now. And I don't think he waits. I think he will ask, different. He does a good job of making sure. And like I said, my kids will. One thing I love about that little one, she is not going to starve. She will whip up a batch of something for us. Like, she'll be like, well, I just ate the rest of that blah, blah, blah in there. Like, she's not going to be sitting around waiting for nobody. So the boy might be like, in hopes of a pizza. He'll be like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait it out and see what mama going to get. She's like, whatever, yeah. I'm going to get some of this chicken because that's what is
here.
Yeah, that's what's here.
Oh, that's good. So what are the takeaways?
Okay, so I feel like the more you know your children, the better you can respond to what they need.
Yeah.
And I think that only comes from spending more time with them. And of course, you know your child from birth, but they do change and they do evolve. And I do feel like I need to continue to remember that I'm raising adults and not just like feeding into their childish behaviors and just making sure that they have the responsibilities of many adults and of maybe like stepping into those things and thinking for the future. So I don't want to prepare my kids to be out there and be like helpless adults. I want them to be able to take care of themselves. I want them to be able to recognize safety. I want them to be able to care about other people. But all the details, I don't think really are that important.
Yeah. I remember that reminds me of the conversation I told my parents. I was like, my oldest kid, she makes up her bed. And they were like, what? Like, she was 4 and like I was teaching her how to make up her bed. Mm-hmm. Not that it would be perfect, but like just pulling the covers back and smoothing it out. And it was something we would do together. And, why are you teaching her that already? And I'm like, when?
She's sleeping, isn't she? Shouldn't she know?
If I don't do this now, when would you like for me to do it? 12 or 13? No, because by then we're going to be fighting. Yeah. Like, it's never too soon to teach your kids about responsibility, in my opinion.
Right. It's really hard for me to get through this dishwashing thing. It is so hard. Oh my
hand washing it?
Mm-hmm. It is so.
We just had a lesson in hand washing today, like a really good, thorough one, because otherwise, they were playing. But like, she had some real pots to wash today, so I had to really teach her about the soaking and she was pulling the pot out of the water, putting it on the ledge of the countertop, and I said, no, keep it in the water. Yeah, like, it's so crazy, the little things.
I literally pulled the pan out. It had like bacon spots, like it had not. It is, and we've had these lessons. I think I've given maybe 4 pause. Let me teach you again.
28 is what it takes though to unlearn bad habits.
Right, but how can you unlearn a habit that you ain't never learned yet?
They learned it somewhere from what he was doing. 28 times.
So I guess I need to do it, 24 more times. Stop, pause, and I need to do that with body hygiene too, because I'm like, I've had a whole event of step by step many times, but you gotta keep doing it. Like, you just have to keep repeating, because those are the things. Like, find the top five things you think they're gonna need.
For sure.
And
like, seriously, narrow it down.
Because I'm not about to do that with dusting. I'm just not. I'm not going to be like, you have to have the dust. No, I'm not going to focus on dusting. Please know how to wash a dish.
Yeah, that's important.
Like, it's crazy.
And a pit.
Yeah.
Know how to wash a dish in a pit.
Dish in a pit.
Please, Jesus. Hot spots.
Lord.
Learn how to hit them. But
this was an interesting frequently asked questions because I had always assumed that they would be about marriage. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's just, I think it turns into that whole, it's still about marriage because it has to be an understanding between you and the spouse what the expectations are. Also, it goes back to your background and those foundations and those traditions. Like you were allowed to cook very early, like whole meals. I wasn't cooking whole meals, but I was cooking. Yeah. You know, I don't know if my husband was or not. He probably was. But like it just goes back to that's and more the traditions communication
and things that you want to establish with, and you might want to do things totally different because your mama let you burn the kitchen down, and maybe I don't want that for my house.
Or you grew up and you were like, I don't even know how to iron my clothes. My kids are not gonna not know how to iron their clothes.
Mine won't, because I don't even know where my ironing board is. We just dry clean everything that needs to be pressed. How about that?
There are other ways to do things.
I don't even know if they know how to iron. I don't care.
Ansley irons.
Aw, yay! So,
but that goes back to my mama taught me to do that. Like I saw her iron it all the time, and then I
really. There's people who really have joy from ironing. Like they iron underwear, they iron all kinds of things.
Oh no, she don't do all that.
They love it. They have pleasure. So, do you have any questions about marriage, about life, about children, about whatever?
Let us know.
If you have a question you really want to ask about those areas that you just feel like maybe you don't want to ask people that actually know you, you can ask us. And we will look into those questions. We will talk about them. We will talk, we won't mention you. Maybe if it's something that's really embarrassing, I can't say I don't get embarrassed, but I won't get embarrassed by your question. And so we will look, answer, talk about them, ask friends, research, whatever it is. So definitely, if you want to be having one of your questions answered on Frequently Asked Questions, you can DM us on Instagram.
Yes, and we really do appreciate any questions that you ask. It can be simple, it can be in depth, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that is burning your on the inside that you want to get out. Because like even that question about whether our kids should stay at home, we know people that might judge us about leaving our kids here for going to run into Dunkin'. Like, dang, they want coffee that bad. They gonna leave their kid. I mean, folks are always judging about something. They find something. Right. But so if you know that your crew is like that, let us be transparent and answer your questions. It's fine.
Yeah, it's great.
Been there, done that.
We're on Instagram at the Sweet Tea and Sunshine Podcast. And we're also on every other podcast handle that you can think of, podcast outlet. So Spreaker, Apple Podcast, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, I think. We're on a lot of different places.
And don't forget to check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, and definitely we are always on Instagram. So if you want to reach us, if you want to email us, that's fine too, but you can find all that information there for our links.
We have a very fun question up. Never mind, just kidding. Look for us on our stories because we have fun questions that we would love for you to participate in.
Yeah, we like to share polls and other people's ideas of that as well. Thank you so much for listening, downloading, sharing. If you think our stuff is valuable and you think that there's people who would want to and love to hear us, we appreciate you sharing that with them. Actually, right now, go ahead and do that because we love new downloads. But that's about it for this week. Any closing remarks? Are you good?
Hey, this was so much fun. I love any opportunity to become a better mommy or to be confirmed in what my thoughts are.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Bye.